welcome back to our channel, devoted viewers. Today is a truly beautiful day to dive deep into the emotional labyrinth of Genoa City and beyond. We have an incredibly compelling journey ahead, so sit back, relax, and let us explore the profound depths of the human heart together. The sweeping narrative of our beloved characters currently spans across state lines, tethering the corporate battlegrounds of Genoa City to the sterile, life-altering corridors of a New York hospital. The stakes have never been higher, as the fragile line between life and death forces every single person involved to strip away their pretenses and confront their most authentic desires. In a world where ruthless ambition and dark vendettas usually reign supreme, we are now witnessing a profound shift toward raw, unfiltered human connection. The looming shadow of a medical crisis has a unique way of distilling what truly matters, pushing long-buried feelings to the surface and forcing fractured families to either unite in the face of tragedy or shatter completely under the unbearable weight of their shared history. At the very heart of this emotional maelstrom, the desperate fight to save the life of Malcolm Winters. Diagnosed with severe aplastic anemia, Malcolm's condition has rapidly deteriorated, leaving his loved ones in a state of paralyzing terror. The agonizing search for a viable bone marrow donor has been a torturous ordeal, marked by crushing disappointments and agonizing dead ends. When it was revealed that neither his daughter Lily Winters nor her twins, Maddie and Charlie, were a match, a suffocating blanket of despair threatened to consume the Winters family. It was in this darkest hour that Kane Ashby emerged as the ultimate beacon of hope. Despite being entangled in a catastrophic legal nightmare orchestrated by the ruthless Victor Newman, Kane selflessly stepped forward, proving to be the exact match Malcolm so desperately needed to survive. The logistics of this life-saving procedure have been severely complicated by Kane's shocking arrest, a direct result of the fabricated artificial intelligence evidence designed to frame him and Phyllis Summers. Lily, operating on pure, unadulterated adrenaline and a fierce determination, orchestrated a tactical miracle to secure Kane's freedom. In a surprising twist of fate, before her departure to New York, Lily unexpectedly crossed paths with Kane right in the heart of Genoa City. Kane was genuinely astonished, operating under the assumption that Lily had already boarded her flight to be by her father's side. However, Lily's fierce loyalty anchored her to the city for just a moment longer. Determined to ensure that the initial phases of Kane's extraction and medical preparation proceeded without a single flaw. This unexpected encounter in Genoa City served as a catalyst for a breathtaking emotional reunion between the former spouses. The air crackled with a palpable, undeniable tension as Lily looked upon the man who was risking his own freedom and seeking to save her biological father. The profound gratitude swelling within Lily's heart transcended mere words, manifesting in a fierce, passionate kiss that seemed to erase years of heartbreak and betrayal. In that fleeting, stolen moment before she finally boarded her flight to New York, Lily and Kane silently reaffirmed the legendary, unbreakable bond that has always tethered their souls together. It was a kiss that spoke of forgiveness, of unwavering support, and of a rekindled romance that absolutely refuses to be extinguished by the surrounding chaos. Meanwhile, hundreds of miles away in New York, the atmosphere within the hospital is thick with an entirely different kind of tension. The sterile white walls, the relentless, rhythmic beating of the heart monitors, and the pervasive scent of antiseptic serve as a constant, terrifying reminder of the fragility of human life. Here, Holden Novak paces the polished floors, carrying a psychological burden that is almost too massive to comprehend. Thrust into a family dynamic he never knew existed, Holden is grappling with the earth-shattering revelation that the man fighting for his life in the nearby intensive care unit is his biological father. The sheer magnitude of this medical crisis is threatening to swallow Holden whole, leaving him feeling entirely unmoored from the reality he once knew. Holden's internal landscape is a chaotic battlefield of grief, resentment, and desperate, fragile hope. For his entire life, he was fed a carefully constructed narrative by his mother, Dr. Stephanie Simmons, believing his father was a ghost from a past he could never touch. Now, faced with the tangible reality of Malcolm Winters, Holden is terrified that he might lose his father before he ever truly gets the chance to know him. The prospect of Malcolm slipping away on the operating table haunts Holden's every waking thought, amplifying his vulnerability to an agonizing degree. He is a man standing on the precipice of a monumental life change, desperately searching for a lifeline to keep him from plummeting into the abyss of his own escalating anxiety. Adding to the overwhelming emotional weight of the situation is the highly anticipated medical consultation regarding the impending surgery. Holden, accompanied by the ever-supportive Claire Newman, sat down with Dr. Stephanie Simmons to meticulously review the logistical and medical realities of the bone marrow transplant. Despite the deeply strained relationship between Holden and his mother, the meeting was underscored by a shared, desperate desire to see Malcolm survive. During this tense discussion, Holden bravely voiced his deepest, most vulnerable aspiration, expressing the profound hope that if the surgery is successful, he will finally have the opportunity to forge a genuine, lasting relationship with the father he was denied for so long. It was a moment of raw honesty that highlighted the immense emotional stakes resting on Kane's impending arrival. As the grueling wait continues, the psychological toll on Holden becomes increasingly apparent. The hospital corridors seem to stretch on into eternity, every passing second amplifying the deafening silence of uncertainty. The news of Kane's arrest and the subsequent delays have only poured gasoline on the fire of Holden's anxiety, leaving him feeling entirely helpless in the face of impending tragedy. It is in this crucible of fear and anticipation that the human need for connection becomes absolute. Holden, stripped of his usual defenses and overwhelmed by the sheer gravity of the situation, finds himself gravitating toward the one person who has consistently offered him a sense of stability and unwavering support amidst the swirling chaos. In a sudden, breath-stealing moment amidst the chaotic noise of the hospital hallway, Holden reaches his breaking point. Unable to contain the tempest of emotions raging within him, he turns to Claire and grasps her hands with a desperate, anchoring intensity. Looking deep into her eyes, Holden completely shatters his emotional walls, delivering a raw, unfiltered confession of his profound love. He tells Claire that she is his only guiding light, the singular force that is keeping him from completely falling apart under the crushing weight of his family's crisis. His words are a torrential outpouring of gratitude, affection, and vulnerability, a desperate plea for her to understand just how vital her presence has become to his very survival in this dark, terrifying chapter of his life. For Claire, this sudden, intense declaration of love lands like a physical blow, leaving her profoundly stunned and emotionally paralyzed. The sheer vulnerability in Holden's eyes is undeniable, yet Claire finds herself entirely unequipped to process the magnitude of his confession in this chaotic environment. Her mind, already stretched to its absolute limits, experiences a severe emotional whiplash. She is deeply moved by Holden's sincerity and the depth of his reliance on her, but she is simultaneously suffocating under the weight of her own insurmountable anxieties. How can she possibly navigate the complexities of a blossoming romance when her own family is currently spiraling into a terrifying, violent abyss back in Genoa City? Claire's internal storm is a terrifying reflection of the Newman family's current reality. While she stands in this New York hospital acting as Holden's savior, her thoughts are violently pulled back to the horrors unfolding in her hometown. She is acutely aware of the terrifying return of Matt Clark, a man whose amnesia makes him an unpredictable, lethal wildcard. The shadows of Matt's violent history with her relatives loom large in her mind, compounding her terror over Victor Newman's Restless, a legal artificial intelligence plot that has already destroyed lives. Furthermore, the whispered rumors of Nick Newman's dangerous descent into addiction and the lethal traps being set in Las Vegas are tearing at Claire's sanity. She is a woman torn between two entirely different worlds of crisis, rendering her incapable of fully surrendering to the love Holden is so desperately offering. Seeking a momentary reprieve from the suffocating pressure of the hospital, Claire and Holden eventually retreat to the quiet sanctuary of their hotel suite. Away from the glaring fluorescent lights and the relentless medical updates, the atmosphere shifts into something deeply intimate and profoundly tender. In the hushed silence of the room, the unspoken tension between them hangs heavy in the air. Holden's confession remains the elephant in the room, a beautiful yet terrifying truth that has fundamentally altered the trajectory of their relationship. As they share this private space, finding solace in each other's mere presence, the depth of their connection becomes undeniable. Even as the looming uncertainties of tomorrow threaten to tear them apart, we cannot help but feel a profound sense of heartache and admiration as we witness these characters navigating such treacherous emotional waters. There is a hauntingly beautiful tragedy in watching Holden strip away his pride to bare his soul, seeking love in the very shadow of death. It resonates on a deeply subjective level, reminding us of our own moments of absolute vulnerability when the world feels entirely out of our control. The juxtaposition of Lily's fierce, law-breaking devotion to Kane and Claire's paralyzed, terror-stricken hesitation creates a magnificent tapestry of the human experience. It makes us genuinely reflect on the lengths we would go to for the people we cherish, and the paralyzing fear that often accompanies the prospect of opening our hearts when everything around us is burning to the ground. As the dawn breaks over the New York skyline, casting a fragile light on the hospital windows, the ultimate moments of truth rapidly approach. Will Kane Ashby's life-saving bone marrow extraction proceed without any further catastrophic interference from the authorities? Will Malcolm Winters find the strength to survive the arduous transplant and finally embrace the son who is waiting so desperately to know him? And as Claire Newman stands at the crossroads of her own heart, will she find the courage to step into the light of Holden's love, or will the dark, violent gravity of the Newman family legacy pull her back into the abyss? The stage is set for a climax that will irrevocably alter the landscape of their lives forever.